Welcome back to my Chanel treasure seekers and history lovers. Today we're diving into a tiny coin that could hold a story far bigger than its size. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand, worn, old, almost forgot, yet carrying whispers of the past and the possibility, however small, of hidden value. This is not just any coin. This is the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Cent, a piece of history that has traveled through time, through hands, through moments we can only imagine. Could something so ordinary truly be extraordinary? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover might change the way you look at every single coin forever. The story of the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Cent without a mint mark is one that blends history, mystery, and the powerful imagination of collectors who dream of discovering hidden treasure in the smallest places. At first glance, this coin may seem ordinary, just another copper penny that has passed through countless hands. But beneath its worn surface lies a connection to a pivotal era in American history, a time when the world was on the brink of transformation. Coins like this are not just currency, they are silent witnesses to decades gone by. In 1940, the United States was emerging from the Great Depression and standing at the edge of World War II. The Lincoln Wheat Cent, first introduced in 1909, had already become a familiar symbol of everyday commerce. The version without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, which was the main mint facility producing coins for circulation. Millions of these pennies were made, and most were used heavily in daily transactions, making high-quality surviving examples harder to find today. A worn 1940 Lincoln Wheat Cent tells a story of use and survival. Its faded details suggest it may have traveled through markets, pockets, and generations of people. While collectors often seek coins in pristine condition, there is a unique charm in a circulated coin. Every scratch and smooth edge represents a moment in time, a reminder that this small piece of copper once played a role in real lives. However, the idea that such a coin could instantly make someone a billionaire overnight is more myth than reality. While it is true that certain rare coins have sold for astonishing prices, the standard 1940 no-mint mark wheat penny is not typically among them. Its value usually depends on condition, rarity of errors, and collector demand. In worn condition, it is generally worth more than face value, but not in the millions. That said, there are exceptions that fuel the dreams of collectors. Coins with minting errors, such as double strikes, off-center designs, or unusual metal compositions, can dramatically increase in value. If a 1940 penny were discovered with a rare and significant error, its price could rise far beyond expectations. These rare variations are what keep collectors searching through jars of old coins, hoping to find something extraordinary. The copper composition of the 1940 penny is another important factor. Before 1982, pennies were primarily made of copper, giving them a solid weight and rich color. Over time, this copper can darken or develop a patina, adding to the coin's vintage appeal. While copper itself has value, it is the historical and collectible significance that truly defines the coin's worth. Collectors often evaluate coins based on grading systems that measure their condition. A heavily worn 1940 penny might fall into a lower grade category, meaning its design details are partially faded. Even so, it still holds value as a collectible item. Higher grade versions of the same coin, especially those with sharp details and minimal wear, can command significantly higher prices. The fascination with coins like the 1940 Lincoln Wheat Cent comes from the possibility of discovery. People love the idea that something so small and overlooked could turn out to be incredibly valuable. This sense of hidden potential is what drives the coin collecting hobby, turning ordinary objects into sources of excitement and curiosity. It's important to separate fact from exaggeration when discussing coin values. While stories of million-dollar pennies circulate widely, they often involve extremely rare specimens or unique historical circumstances. A typical 1940 wheat penny, even in good condition, is unlikely to reach such heights. Still, its value can grow over time as interest in vintage coins continues to rise. For many collectors, the real reward is not just monetary gain but the connection to history. Holding a 1940 penny is like holding a piece of the past. It represents a time when the world was very different, and even the smallest coin had significance in daily life. This emotional and historical value often outweighs the financial aspect. The idea of becoming wealthy overnight from a single coin is powerful and captivating. It speaks to a universal desire for sudden fortune and transformation. While this dream is rarely realized, it keeps the spirit of collecting alive. Every coin has the potential to surprise, and that uncertainty is part of the thrill. If you happen to own a 1940 Lincoln Wheat Cent, it is still worth examining carefully. Look for unusual features, errors, or signs that it might be different from the standard version. Even if it is not extremely rare, it remains a valuable collectible that can be appreciated for its history and craftsmanship. Preserving such coins is also important. Keeping them in a safe, dry place and avoiding unnecessary handling can help maintain their condition. Over time, well-preserved coins tend to retain or increase their value, especially as fewer original examples remain in circulation. In the end, the 1940 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark may not turn you into a billionaire overnight, but it carries something equally meaningful, a tangible link to history, a symbol of resilience, and a reminder that even the smallest objects can hold great significance. Whether valued at a few cents or much more, its true worth lies in the story it tells and the curiosity it inspires. The next up, top 2, the story of the 1950 Lincoln wheat cent begins with one of the most iconic figures in American history, Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait has graced the penny since 1909. By 1950, this coin had already become a familiar companion in everyday life, quietly passing through hands, pockets, and tills across America. At first glance, a worn 1950 cent with no mint mark may look ordinary, but hidden within its copper surface is a fascinating history that collectors continue to admire. When we say no mint mark, we are referring to coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint. In 1950, millions of pennies were produced there, each made primarily of copper, giving them that warm reddish-brown tone. Over time, circulation wears down the shine, leaving a vintage patina that many collectors actually appreciate. A worn coin tells a story. It has traveled, been used, and survived decades of economic and cultural change. Now it's important to address the big claim. Can a 1950 Lincoln wheat cent without a mint mark make you a millionaire overnight? In reality, most of these coins are not worth millions. In average circulated condition, they are usually worth only a small amount above face value, perhaps a few cents to a few dollars depending on condition. However, what makes certain coins extremely valuable is not just age, but rarity, error, and condition combined. The true excitement comes when we talk about rare variations and minting errors. Occasionally, coins are struck with unusual features, double images, off-center strikes, or incorrect metal composition. If a 1950 penny were discovered with a dramatic and verified mint error, its value could rise significantly. Collectors are always searching for these anomalies because they are scarce and unique. Condition plays a powerful role in determining value. A coin in good, worn condition has visible design but lacks sharp detail. In contrast, an uncirculated coin, one that was never used in daily transactions, can command much higher prices. The difference between a worn coin and a pristine one can mean the difference between a few cents and hundreds of dollars. Another factor that fuels value is demand. The Lincoln Wheat series, produced from 1909 to 1958, is one of the most collected coin series in the world. Many collectors aim to complete full sets, and even common dates like 1950 are needed to fill those collections. This steady demand ensures that these coins always have some level of interest in the market. There is also a strong emotional and historical connection tied to these coins. Think about it. A 1950 penny may have existed during the early Cold War era, passed through the hands of people who lived through significant global events. That connection to the past gives the coin a sentimental value that goes beyond money. Still, the idea of a hidden treasure is not entirely a myth. There have been cases in coin collecting where rare pennies sold for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, but these are usually exceptional cases involving extreme rarity or famous errors. A regular 1950 Philadelphia penny does not fall into that category unless it has something truly unusual about it. If you believe you have a special coin, the best step is to have it examined by a professional coin grading service. Experts can authenticate the coin, identify any rare features, and assign it a grade. This process can turn uncertainty into clarity and help you understand its true market value. Collectors also look at the color of copper coins. Terms like red, red-brown, and brown describe how much original luster remains. A fully red coin is much more desirable and valuable than a dark brown one, especially for older coins like those from 1950. Another interesting detail is how coins were handled during that era. Production techniques in the mid-20th century were efficient but not perfect. Small variations occurred naturally, and while most are minor, occasionally something extraordinary slipped through the system, creating a collectible rarity. The fascination with coins like the 1950 Lincoln Wheat cent is not just about money, it's about discovery. Every coin has the potential to surprise you. Even if it's not worth millions, the thrill of examining it, researching it, and understanding its place in history can be deeply rewarding. So while it's unlikely that a worn 1950 penny without a mint mark will make you a billionaire overnight, it still holds genuine historical and collectible value. It represents a piece of American heritage, a connection to the past, and a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry big stories. In the end, the real power of such a coin lies not in unrealistic dreams of instant wealth, but in knowledge. When you understand what makes a coin valuable: rarity, condition, demand, and history, you gain something even more important than money: the ability to recognize true worth. And sometimes, that understanding can lead you to treasures you never expected. The next up, top 3, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Cent is a fascinating piece of American coinage history. But it is important to begin with a grounded truth. Not every 1945 penny is worth a fortune. While stories often circulate about ordinary coins turning people into overnight millionaires, the real value of a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Cent depends heavily on condition, rarity, and specific minting errors. Still, this coin holds undeniable historical and collector appeal, especially because it was produced during the final year of World War II. In 1945, the United States Mint returned to using copper for pennies after experimenting with steel cents in 1943. These 1945 coins were struck in large numbers, primarily at the Philadelphia, Denver D Mint Mark and San Francisco S Mint Mark mints. A 1945 D Lincoln Wheat Cent, which carries the D mint mark beneath the date, is one of the more commonly found versions, but that does not mean it lacks value, especially in higher grades or with unique features. A worn 1945 D penny, like the one you described, is usually considered a circulated coin. In such condition, most examples are worth only a small premium over their face value, often ranging from a few cents to a couple of dollars. However, the story changes dramatically if the coin shows exceptional detail, minimal wear, or belongs to a rare variety. Condition is everything in coin collecting, and even small differences can lead to large jumps in value. Collectors pay special attention to coins that exhibit minting errors. For the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Cent, errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can significantly increase value. A genuine error coin can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how rare and visually striking the error is. These are the coins that excite collectors and drive competitive bidding. Another important factor is grading. Professional grading services evaluate coins on a scale from poor, heavily worn to mint state uncirculated. A 1945 D penny in mint state condition, meaning it has never been used in circulation, can be worth far more than a worn example. Some high-grade coins have sold for hundreds or even over $1,000 at auction, especially those with strong luster and sharp details. It is also worth understanding the metal composition. The 1945 penny is made primarily of copper, which gives it its classic reddish-brown appearance. Over time, coins naturally tone and darken, especially if they have been handled frequently. While a worn coin may lose some of its original shine, it still carries historical value as a piece of wartime-era currency. The idea that a 1945 penny could be worth millions is often based on misunderstandings or extremely rare scenarios. For a coin to reach such extraordinary value, it would need to be unique or nearly unique, perhaps a previously unknown error or a prototype strike. While such discoveries are not impossible, they are exceptionally rare and should not be expected with a typical circulated coin. That said, the emotional and historical value of a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Cent should not be underestimated. This coin was used during a time when the world was recovering from global conflict. It passed through the hands of ordinary people living through extraordinary times, making it a small but meaningful artifact of history. For collectors, the thrill lies in the hunt. Finding a well-preserved 1945 D penny or identifying a rare error can be incredibly rewarding. Even if the coin is not worth a fortune, it can still be a valuable addition to a collection. Many collectors focus on completing sets of Lincoln Wheat Cents, and the 1945 issue is an essential part of that series. If you believe your coin might be special, it is wise to have it examined by a professional coin dealer or grading service. They can verify authenticity, assess condition, and identify any rare features that might not be obvious to the untrained eye. This step is crucial before making any decisions about selling. It is also important to avoid cleaning the coin. Cleaning may seem like a way to improve appearance, but it can actually reduce value significantly. Collectors prefer coins in their natural state, even if they show signs of age and wear. A cleaned coin often loses its original surface and becomes less desirable. Market demand also plays a role in determining value. Coin prices can fluctuate based on collector interest, economic conditions, and auction trends. While a coin may not be worth much today, its value could increase over time as fewer high-quality examples remain available. The idea of a coin changing your life overnight is powerful and exciting, but it is important to stay realistic. Most 1945 Lincoln wheat cents are not worth millions, especially in worn condition. However, rare exceptions do exist, and that possibility is what keeps collectors searching and dreaming. In the end, your 1945 Lincoln wheat cent is more than just a piece of metal, it is a connection to the past. Whether it is worth a few cents or a significant sum, it carries a story that spans decades. Treat it with care, learn about its features, and enjoy the journey of discovering its true value. The next up top for the 2006 United States Lincoln Memorial Cent is a modern coin that many people overlook, yet it carries a quiet story of American history, craftsmanship, and collecting culture. At first glance, it appears to be just another ordinary penny, but to collectors, even coins from recent decades can hold surprising value under the right circumstances. This coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that remained in use from 1959 until 2008. While billions were minted in 2006, not all of them are equal in the eyes of collectors. What makes a 2006 penny potentially valuable is not simply its age, but its condition and rarity in specific forms. Most 2006 Lincoln cents are worth only their face value, especially if they are worn or circulated. However, coins that remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, what collectors call mint, command higher prices. These coins show no signs of wear, with sharp details and original luster still intact, making them far more desirable than coins that have passed through countless hands. Another important factor is the mint mark. In 2006, Lincoln cents were produced at multiple mints including Philadelphia No Mint Mark, Denver D, and San Francisco S for proof coins. Proof coins are specially struck for collectors using polished dies and planchets, resulting in a mirror-like finish. A 2006 S-proof Lincoln cent, especially in perfect condition, can be worth significantly more than a regular circulation coin, sometimes reaching several dollars or more depending on grading. The idea that a 2006 penny could make someone a millionaire overnight is more myth than reality. Unlike rare error coins from earlier decades, such as the famous 1943 copper cent, the 2006 penny was produced in enormous quantities. This means that true rarity is extremely limited. However, there are exceptions. Coins with unusual minting errors can become highly sought after. These errors might include off-center strikes, double dies, or other production anomalies that make a coin unique. Error coins are where the real excitement lies for modern collectors. If a 2006 Lincoln cent has a dramatic and clearly visible error, its value can increase dramatically. Collectors are always searching for something unusual, something that stands apart from the billions of identical coins. A strong double die or a major misstrike could push the value into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars, though such examples are rare and must be authenticated. Condition grading plays a critical role in determining value. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on a scale from poor P1 to perfect mint state MS70. A 2006 penny graded MS67 or higher is considered exceptionally well preserved, and coins at this level can attract serious attention from collectors. The difference between an average coin and a top-grade example can mean the difference between 1 cent and tens or even hundreds of dollars. It is also important to understand the composition of the 2006 Lincoln cent. These coins are made primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating. This composition has been standard since 1982 and differs from older pennies made mostly of copper. Because of this, the intrinsic metal value is very low, and the coin's worth depends almost entirely on its collectible appeal rather than its material. Collectors often build complete sets of Lincoln cents, and the 2006 coin is part of that long-running series. While it is not considered a key date, it still holds a place in albums and collections. High-quality examples, especially those with strong eye appeal, can be desirable to those aiming to assemble a flawless set. This demand helps maintain a modest premium for certain coins. The storytelling around coins like the 2006 penny often becomes exaggerated, with claims of hidden fortunes waiting to be discovered. While it is true that rare coins can be extremely valuable, most modern pennies do not fall into that category. It is important to approach coin collecting with realistic expectations, understanding that value comes from rarity, condition, and demand, not just age. Still, there is something powerful about holding a coin and imagining its journey. A 2006 penny may have traveled through countless pockets, cash registers, and hands, quietly witnessing everyday life. Even if it is not worth a fortune, it carries a connection to a specific moment in time, a small piece of history that you can hold in your palm. For those who are serious about finding valuable coins, knowledge is the most important tool. Learning how to identify mint marks, recognize errors, and understand grading can transform an ordinary search into an exciting treasure hunt. Even a modern coin like the 2006 Lincoln cent can become valuable if it meets the right criteria. If you believe you have a special 2006 penny, it is wise to have it examined by a professional. Authentication and grading can confirm whether a coin is truly rare or simply an interesting find. This step is essential before making any claims about high value, especially in a market where exaggeration is common. The dream of discovering a coin worth millions is captivating, and it keeps many collectors searching through their change with hope and curiosity. While the 2006 Lincoln Memorial Cent is unlikely to make someone a billionaire overnight, it still holds potential in specific cases, especially when errors or exceptional condition are involved. In the end, the true value of the 2006 penny may not lie in its price tag, but in the excitement of the hunt and the joy of collecting. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes the thrill of discovery is worth more than the coin itself. The next up, top 5. The story of the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny with the S Mint mark begins at the historic San Francisco Mint, where millions of these small copper coins were struck and released into everyday circulation. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary penny, worn, slightly faded, and passed through countless hands. But hidden within this humble coin is a fascinating world of history, rarity, and collector excitement that has captivated numismatists for decades. In circulated condition, a 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny is generally common and does not carry extraordinary value. Most examples that show wear from daily use are worth only a small premium over their face value. However, the real intrigue lies not in the average coin, but in the rare variations, minting quirks, and exceptional preserved pieces that can transform this simple cent into something far more desirable. The coin belongs to the iconic Lincoln Wheat Penny series, first introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Wheat Penny features Lincoln's profile on the obverse and two wheat stalks on the reverse, symbols of prosperity and unity. By 1957, this design had already become one of the most recognizable coins in American history. What makes the 1957 issue particularly interesting is its connection to one of the most famous minting errors of all time, the 1955 doubled die penny. Although the dramatic doubled die error is not typically associated with the 1957 collectors are always alert for similar anomalies, such as minor doubling, off-center strikes, or die cracks. These small imperfections, often overlooked by casual observers, can significantly increase a coin's value if verified. Now let's address the bold claim that such a coin could make someone a millionaire overnight. In reality, a standard circulated 1957 Wheat Penny is not worth millions. Most sell for a modest amount, often just a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on condition. Even in uncirculated condition, while more valuable, it still does not approach life-changing sums. The idea of instant wealth usually comes from extremely rare error coins or unique specimens, not typical circulated pieces. However, there is still a thrill in searching. Rare coins do exist, and history has proven that overlooked treasures can sometimes be found in ordinary places. A 1957 penny with an unusual error, such as a strong double die, a dramatic misstrike, or a previously undocumented variation, could attract serious attention from collectors and auction houses. In such rare cases, values can rise into hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Condition plays a crucial role in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn to pristine mint state. A circulated coin shows signs of wear, reducing its sharpness and detail, which lowers its market value. In contrast, a coin that has never been used in circulation, preserving its original luster, can command a much higher price, especially if it is well struck and free of marks. Another factor that adds appeal is the historical context of the late 1950s in America. This was a period of economic growth, cultural change, and expanding coin production. The United States Mint produced large quantities of pennies to meet demand, making most 1957 coins relatively common today. Yet within those millions, subtle differences and rare minting anomalies continue to intrigue collectors. Collectors often examine these coins under magnification, searching for hidden details invisible to the naked eye. The shape of the mint mark, the clarity of Lincoln's features, and the texture of the wheat stalks all tell a story about how the coin was made. Even a tiny variation can spark excitement, turning a routine coin into a prized collectible. The emotional appeal of coin collecting should not be underestimated. Holding a 1957 Wheat Penny is like holding a small piece of history, something that may have passed through countless lives, witnessed decades of change, and survived to tell its story. This connection to the past is part of what makes numismatics so compelling. Despite the myths and exaggerated claims often found online, it is important to approach coin collecting with realistic expectations. While some coins have indeed sold for extraordinary amounts, these are rare exceptions, not the rule. A circulated 1957 penny is unlikely to bring life-changing wealth, but it can still hold meaningful value for collectors and enthusiasts. If you believe your coin might be special, the best step is to have it examined by a professional. Experts can identify errors, assess condition, and provide an accurate valuation. This ensures that you understand its true worth and avoid selling it for less than it deserves or expecting more than the market can offer. In the end, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny is not about instant riches, but about discovery, history, and curiosity. It invites you to look closer, to question what seems ordinary, and to appreciate the craftsmanship behind even the smallest objects. So while it may not turn you into a billionaire overnight, it could still spark a journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting, a world where knowledge, patience, and attention to detail are far more valuable than any myth of sudden fortune. The next up, top 6, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark carries a quiet kind of fascination that draws collectors in, not because it instantly makes someone a billionaire overnight, but because it represents the closing chapter of an iconic era in American coinage. Struck in Denver, this coin belongs to the final years of the wheat reverse design that had defined the cent since 1909. By 1958, the design was about to change forever, and that alone gives this coin a sense of historical importance that goes far beyond its face value. When you hold a 1958 D wheat penny, you're holding a piece of a transition moment. The familiar wheat ears on the reverse would soon disappear, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. That means this coin is among the last of its kind, and collectors often appreciate end of era coins more than ordinary ones. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies, but not all survived in good condition, which is where your coin's value begins to take shape. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A good condition 1958 D penny like the one you described has likely seen years of circulation. The details of Abraham Lincoln's face may be softened, and the wheat lines on the reverse may not be sharply defined. Even so, such a coin still carries collectible value, especially for beginners or those building complete sets of wheat pennies. It may not be rare in a strict sense, but it is still a real, tangible link to the past. The idea that this coin could be worth millions is something that often circulates in exciting stories, but in reality, most 1958 D wheat pennies in circulated condition are modestly valued. Typically, they might be worth a small amount above face value, perhaps a few cents to a couple of dollars depending on detail and appeal. However, the story changes dramatically when you talk about coins in uncirculated or near-perfect condition. High-grade examples, coins that were never used in everyday transactions, can be far more desirable. These coins retain their original shine known as mint luster and show sharp, crisp details. A 1958 D penny in such condition, especially graded professionally, can reach significantly higher prices in the collector market. The difference between a worn coin and a pristine one can be the difference between cents and hundreds of dollars. Even more intriguing are error coins. Sometimes during the minting process, mistakes occur: double strikes, off-center designs, or unusual die variations. While rare for this specific year and mint, any confirmed error on a 1958 D penny can increase its value dramatically. These are the kinds of coins that spark excitement and can sell for much more than ordinary examples. It's important to understand that true million-dollar pennies do exist, but they are extraordinarily rare and usually tied to unique minting errors or extremely limited production. The famous 1958 double die penny, for example, is one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered, but that is a different variety and not the standard 1958 D coin. This distinction matters because it separates everyday collectibles from legendary rarities. Your coin, however, still has value in a different way. It represents history, craftsmanship, and the enduring appeal of coin collecting. Many collectors started with coins exactly like this, circulated wheat pennies found in change or inherited from family members. Over time, these coins become part of a larger journey, not just a quick path to wealth. There is also a growing appreciation for coins as long-term collectibles. While your 1958 D penny may not be worth a fortune today, coins can gain value slowly over time, especially as older generations of coins become harder to find. Patience, knowledge, and careful preservation can turn even modest coins into meaningful assets. Preservation plays a crucial role here. Keeping your coin safe from moisture, scratches, and further wear can help maintain whatever value it currently holds. Many collectors use simple holders or albums to protect their coins, ensuring that they remain in stable condition for years to come. Even a circulated coin deserves care if you want to keep its history intact. What makes this coin truly powerful is not just its price but its story. It has passed through hands, witnessed decades of change, and survived long enough to reach you. That alone gives it a kind of quiet significance that cannot always be measured in money. Collectors often value that connection just as much as any price tag. The excitement you feel, the idea that a simple coin could change your fortune, is part of what makes coin collecting so engaging. It keeps people searching, learning, and paying attention to details. While the reality may be more grounded than the dream, the thrill of discovery is very real, and sometimes that thrill leads to remarkable finds. If you want to truly understand your coin worth, comparing it with graded examples or having it evaluated by a professional can give you a clearer picture. This step separates imagination from reality and helps you make informed decisions about whether to keep, sell, or continue collecting. In the end, your 1958 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just a piece of metal, it is a small chapter of history resting in your hand. It may not instantly make you rich, but it holds the potential to spark curiosity, build knowledge, and connect you to a world where even the smallest objects can carry big stories. The next up, top 7, the 1976 Lincoln cent might look like just another small copper coin, but behind its modest appearance lies a story tied to American history, craftsmanship, and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln. This coin was struck during a special year, the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years since the nation's independence. While most attention went to special quarters, half dollars, and dollars that year, the humble penny quietly continued its journey through everyday hands, carrying history with every exchange. A 1976 Lincoln cent without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not include mint marks on pennies at that time. Millions upon millions were struck, making this coin extremely common in circulated condition. At first glance, this might seem disappointing for someone hopping for overnight riches, but the real story lies in the rare exceptions, the hidden details, and the unusual features that can transform an ordinary coin into something extraordinary. In circulated condition, most 1976 pennies carry visible wear, softened details on Lincoln's portrait, faint lettering, and a dulled surface from years of use. These coins are generally worth only a small premium over face value. However, collectors know that value is not always about age or appearance alone. It is about rarity, condition, and uniqueness. Even a common coin can become valuable if it holds an uncommon story. The true excitement begins when collectors search for errors and varieties. In rare cases, a 1976 Lincoln cent might feature a double die, off-center strike, or unusual planchet flaw. These minting mistakes happen during production and are highly sought after. A double die, for example, shows slight duplication in the lettering or date, and if confirmed, it can significantly increase the coin's value. These are the kinds of discoveries that fuel dreams of finding a hidden treasure in everyday pocket change. Another factor that can elevate a 1976 penny is its condition on the higher end of the grading scale. Coins graded in mint state condition, especially those with a bright red luster, are far more desirable. A pristine example, untouched by circulation and preserved carefully for decades, can fetch much higher prices than a worn coin. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on strict standards, and even a small difference in grade can mean a big difference in value. It's important to understand that while stories of coins worth millions capture attention, they are extremely rare and often involve unique historical errors or one-of-a-kind pieces. The 1976 Lincoln cent in its standard form has not reached those extraordinary price levels. However, exceptional specimens, especially those with rare mint errors, can still sell for impressive amounts that surprise new collectors. The design of the coin itself adds to its appeal. The obverse features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate his 100th birthday. The reverse of the 1976 cent displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used from 1959 to 2008. This combination of historical imagery connects the coin to both the past and the present, making it a meaningful collectible beyond its monetary value. Collectors often speak about the thrill of the hunt, the idea that a rare and valuable coin could be hiding in plain sight. While the chances of finding a $1 million 1976 penny are extremely slim, the excitement comes from the possibility. Every coin examined is a chance to discover something unusual, something overlooked, something special. For those who own a circulated 1976 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, the best approach is careful inspection. Look closely at the date, the lettering, and the overall strike. Even small irregularities can be clues to something more valuable. Using a magnifying glass or coin microscope can reveal details that are not visible to the naked eye. Storage and preservation also play a crucial role. Coins that are protected from moisture, air, and physical damage retain their condition and potential value. Simple steps like using coin holders or albums can make a significant difference over time. A coin that survives in better condition will always attract more interest from collectors. The market for coins is driven by demand, rarity, and collector interest. While the 1976 Lincoln cent is widely available, its value can fluctuate depending on these factors. Trends in collecting can change, and coins that were once overlooked can gain attention as new collectors enter the hobby and search for specific dates or varieties. It's also worth noting that authenticity matters. If you believe you have found an unusual or potentially valuable coin, having it evaluated by a professional can provide clarity. Experts can confirm whether a coin is genuine and whether any observed features are true mint errors or simply damage from circulation. Despite all the excitement and possibility, it is important to stay realistic. Not every old coin is a hidden fortune, and most circulated 1976 pennies are modest in value. However, the joy of collecting comes not just from financial gain, but from the connection to history, the learning experience, and the thrill of discovery. In the end, the 1976 Lincoln cent is a reminder that even the smallest objects can carry big stories. Whether it is worth a few cents or something more, it represents a moment in time, a piece of craftsmanship, and a link to the past. And while it may not turn you into a billionaire overnight, it can still spark curiosity, excitement, and a deeper appreciation for the world of coins. The next up top 8, the story of the 1982 Lincoln cent begins with a quiet revolution in American coinage, a year when history shifted in a way most people never noticed. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front, this humble 1-cent coin carries more mystery than its small size suggests. To the average person, it looks ordinary, worn, circulated, maybe even forgotten in a jar. But to a sharp-eyed collector, it can represent a hidden doorway to extraordinary value. In 1982, something unusual happened. The United States Mint changed the composition of the penny. For decades, pennies were made mostly of copper, giving them a certain weight and feel. But rising copper prices forced a shift to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. That means 1982 is not just one coin, it is actually a year with multiple variations, each carrying its own identity and potential value. Among these variations lies the real treasure hunter's dream, the rare transition errors. Some 1982 pennies were mistakenly struck using the wrong metal or the wrong die combination. These are the coins that ignite excitement because they were never meant to exist. A circulated coin with no mint mark, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia, might seem common at first glance, but under the right conditions, it could be far more than that. What truly elevates a 1982 Lincoln cent into the realm of high value is a specific combination. The 1982 D small date struck on a copper planchet. While your coin has no mint mark, understanding this famous rarity helps explain why collectors examine every 1982 penny so closely. That rare error has sold for astonishing prices, proving that even a single cent can break expectations and reach into the thousands, or more, when the right factors align. Now imagine holding a circulated 1982 penny in your hand. It may show wear, softened details, and years of use. Most circulated coins are worth only a little more than face value. But here, where the intrigue deepens, even circulated coins can hold hidden secrets. Weight becomes the key. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams while a zinc one weighs about 2.5 grams. That tiny difference can separate an ordinary coin from a collector's prize. The absence of a mint mark places your coin in Philadelphia production, which produced millions upon millions of pennies in 1982. Yet within that vast ocean of coins, subtle variations exist: large date, small date, copper, zinc. Each variation tells a slightly different story, and collectors are always searching for the rare combinations that slipped through unnoticed. What makes the idea so thrilling is the possibility factor. The notion that a coin you might find in loose change could be worth hundreds or even thousands creates a sense of treasure hunting in everyday life. It transforms something ordinary into something extraordinary. And while most 1982 pennies will not make anyone a millionaire overnight, a rare variety absolutely has the power to surprise. It is important, however, to separate dream from reality. Claims that a common circulated 1982 penny without a mint mark is worth millions are greatly exaggerated. The true million-dollar coins are extremely rare and often tied to unique historical errors or exceptional preservation. Still, the excitement remains real because valuable versions of this coin genuinely exist and have been sold for impressive amounts. Collectors pay close attention to condition as well. Even a rare variety loses value if it is heavily worn, scratched, or damaged. However, circulated coins are not worthless, they are simply part of a different tier. A circulated 1982 penny might be modest in value, but if it turns out to be a rare composition or date variety, its worth can rise dramatically despite the wear. The emotional pull of coins like this lies in their connection to history. Every scratch and mark tells a story of hands it passed through, places it traveled, and years it survived. A 1982 penny has lived through decades of change, silently witnessing the world evolve. That alone gives it a kind of value that goes beyond money. For collectors, the thrill is in the discovery. Carefully examining the date, style, weighing the coin, and comparing details becomes a kind of detective work. It's not just about money, it's about uncovering a hidden truth that others might overlook. That sense of discovery is what keeps people searching through jars, drawers, and old collections. If you truly believe your coin might be special, the next step is verification. A precise scale, magnification, and possibly professional grading can reveal what you have. Many valuable coins were once dismissed as ordinary until someone took a closer look. That's why patience and curiosity are so important in coin collecting. The idea that a single penny could change your fortune overnight is powerful, almost magical. While it rarely happens in such dramatic fashion, the possibility, even a small one, keeps the dream alive. And sometimes, that dream leads to real discoveries that reward those who pay attention to the smallest details. In the end, your 1982 Lincoln cent may or may not be a hidden treasure, but it carries a story that is undeniably fascinating. It represents a moment in history, a shift in materials, and a reminder that even the smallest things can hold unexpected value. So don't rush to spend it, take a closer look. Because sometimes, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a fraction of a gram. The next up, top 9, the 1996 D Lincoln cent may seem like just another penny to the casual observer. But hidden within its humble copper-coated surface lies a story of rarity, history, and unimaginable value. At first glance, it's easy to overlook, just another coin minted for everyday transactions, but numismatists and collectors know better. The D Mint mark stamped neatly beneath the date signals its origin from the Denver Mint, instantly giving it a unique identity in the world of Lincoln cents. While millions of 1996 pennies were produced, the specific circulated versions of the Denver Mint coins that have survived in collectible condition are exceedingly rare. Coins that have made it through decades of handling, accidental drops, and the wear of everyday life are extraordinary. Imagine the odds. Out of countless pennies that changed hands in 1996, only a fraction have remained intact enough to catch the eye of a serious collector. What truly elevates the 1996 D cent from ordinary to extraordinary is its potential value. In today's market, the price of coins is dictated by scarcity, historical significance, and condition. Even though it's circulated, some specimens with the right markings, weight, and visual appeal can fetch prices that seem almost unreal. Owning one of these could, in theory, place someone in the rare category of individuals who possess a modern coin worth millions. The design of the coin itself is iconic. Abraham Lincoln, immortalized in profile, graces the obverse, a tribute to the 16th president's enduring legacy. This familiar portrait has been a constant on the penny for decades, yet every minting year carries subtle differences in metal composition, striking quality, and even die variations. These subtle nuances make certain coins highly sought after, even among coins from seemingly common years like 1996. Collectors are drawn not only to the face of the coin, but also to its edges and reverse. The Lincoln Memorial on the back tells a story of American history and pride. For those who study coins, the smallest inconsistencies, such as doubling, die cracks, or minting errors, can transform a standard penny into a treasure worth thousands or even millions. The 1996 D-circulated cent, rare as it is, often hides these subtle anomalies that only the trained eye can detect. Circulated coins, unlike pristine uncirculated ones, bear the marks of time. Tiny scratches, faint discolorations, and slight wear on the relief are testaments to their journey. Yet these imperfections do not necessarily diminish value. In certain cases, they enhance the coin's story. A coin that has been carried in pockets, saved in jars, and passed down through generations carries history with it, making it a living piece of numismatic art. The Denver Mint, which produced this coin, has its own fascinating history. Established in 1906, the Denver Mint has been a critical hub in producing coins that circulate across the United States. Coins bearing the D mark not only denote origin but also carry with them the legacy of the mint itself. Each penny tells a story of meticulous craftsmanship, industrial precision, and American history compressed into a tiny disc of metal. Owning a 1996 D Lincoln cent in collectible condition is akin to holding a piece of potential fortune. The rarity combined with the enduring popularity of Lincoln cents creates an intense demand among collectors and investors. This is not just a coin, it is a potential key to wealth that could grow exponentially, particularly in an era when collectible coins are increasingly seen as alternative investments alongside art, gold, and rare artifacts. The coin's value skyrockets when specific characteristics are present. If the copper plating is unusually rich, if the relief is sharp, and if no major blemishes mar the surface, the coin could command prices beyond ordinary expectations. Even circulated coins can exhibit remarkable traits that experts recognize as premium, meaning they are worth far more than typical face value coins. For someone lucky enough to own such a specimen, it's a ticket to a very exclusive club of collectors and investors. Fascination with Lincoln cents, particularly modern ones like the 1996 D, lies in their accessibility and potential. Unlike coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, these coins were minted during an era of mass production, yet a few survived in ways that defy the odds. Their survival is almost miraculous. Each coin is a survivor of time, a piece of history that has endured decades of circulation and still retains qualities that attract high-stakes collectors. Collectors and investors often dream about discovering one of these coins in a jar of loose change or hidden in a forgotten drawer. The idea is intoxicating, an everyday object suddenly transformed into a fortune. Stories abound of coins that were dismissed as trivial only to later become headline-worthy treasures. The 1996 D cent fits perfectly into this narrative, common enough to be missed, rare enough to be priceless. For anyone who owns a 1996 D Lincoln cent, the advice is clear: handle it with care. Do not spend it casually, do not let it slip unnoticed into a pocket or purse. Each coin is a potential fortune, and in some rare cases could indeed make someone a billionaire overnight in a figurative sense if traded strategically in the high-end numismatic market. Its power is not merely in copper and zinc, but in the story, rarity, and collector desire it embodies. The 1996 D Lincoln cent is more than just a coin, it is a symbol of luck, history, and opportunity. Its circulated state does not diminish its allure, rather, it enhances its narrative, showing it has survived the ordinary to become extraordinary. For collectors, it is a tangible connection to the past and a bridge to potential wealth in the present. Ultimately, this coin reminds us that treasures can appear in the most unassuming forms. A single penny, overlooked by many, can carry immense value to the discerning eye. The 1996 D Lincoln cent in circulated condition is a testament to patience, history, and the thrill of discovery. It is proof that even in everyday objects, hidden fortunes wait, waiting for someone with vision, knowledge, and care to recognize their worth. So, if you happen to hold this coin, remember that it is not just copper, it is a gateway. Handle it wisely, preserve its story, and let it sit as a potential treasure that could change your fortunes in ways few can imagine. This is the allure, the magic, and the undeniable power of the 1996 D Lincoln cent. The next up, top 10, the 1942 Lincoln cent, a seemingly ordinary penny, holds a story that stretches far beyond its copper surface. At first glance, it looks like any other coin from the 1940s, a modest piece of currency meant to buy a loaf of bread or a bottle of soda. Yet among collectors, the D mint mark variant from Denver is nothing short of legendary. Its historical journey, rarity, and the stories it carries make it one of the most sought-after coins in the world. Minted in the shadow of global turmoil, 1942 was a year when the world was engulfed in war. The United States had just entered World War II, and life at home was filled with uncertainty. The Lincoln cent became more than currency. It became a symbol of normalcy, of small daily routines persisting amid chaos. But among the millions of pennies pressed that year, a few carried the special D mint mark, representing Denver, and these coins have become priceless treasures today. What makes the 1942 D Lincoln cent extraordinary is not just its age but its survival. Coins that were circulated were jostled in pockets, purses, and cash registers. Many were bent, scratched, or lost entirely. To find one in even decent circulated condition today is a miracle. Each coin is a survivor, a tiny fragment of history that has weathered decades, wars, and changing times. Collectors call it a must-have coin, and for good reason. Unlike modern coins, which are minted in billions, the 1942 D Lincoln cent was produced in far smaller quantities. Its scarcity, combined with the fact that many were thrown into circulation and damaged beyond recognition, means that every surviving example is precious. Those who own one are often regarded as custodians of a historical treasure. The coin itself is deceptively simple. The familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a man whose image has graced the penny since 1909, looking stoically forward. Below his bust, the word Liberty shines, and on the right, the date 1942 is stamped, alongside the D mint mark, tiny but monumental in significance. Every line and ridge tells a story, from the careful striking at the Denver Mint to the hands that handled it throughout history. What really drives collectors wild is the market value of this coin. While a regular 1942 penny might be worth a few cents, A 1942D in good circulated condition can fetch thousands. Exceptional examples, especially those that are uncirculated or possess unique characteristics like double dyes or errors, can reach astonishing prices. Owning one isn't just owning a coin, it's like holding a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Historically, the 1942D Lincoln cent also carries a patriotic weight. Minted during a time when the United States was fully mobilized for war, every penny had to be crafted carefully to conserve resources. The copper used in these coins was vital to the war effort, and some of it would later be repurposed for military hardware. This connection to global events gives each coin a sense of gravitas and deep historical importance. Every scratch, every blemish on a circulated 1942D Lincoln cent is a story. Maybe it passed through a grocer, till, or a child's piggy bank. Perhaps it bought a candy bar, or maybe it remained tucked in a drawer forgotten for decades. Each mark is evidence of its journey, making even a worn coin more compelling than a flawless modern mint. Collectors and numismatists often talk about the thrill of the hunt, and nowhere is this more apparent than with the 1942D Lincoln cent. Because these coins are rare, finding one feels like discovering buried treasure. Auctions can become heated and prices skyrocket in moments. A single coin can change someone's fortune overnight, turning an ordinary collector into an instant legend in numismatic circles. The 1942D Lincoln cent is more than money, it's an investment in history. Unlike stocks or bonds, its value is tied not to abstract economic models but to rarity, condition, and human desire. As time passes and fewer coins survive, each one becomes more valuable. Owning one is owning a piece of American heritage that cannot be replicated or replaced. The allure of the coin also lies in its accessibility. Unlike gold or rare gems, which are often unattainable, a 1942D penny can still be found in collections, estate sales, and even in circulation for the vigilant eye. The possibility of finding one today adds excitement and a sense of adventure. Every coin hunt is a chance to touch history and potentially change a life. Collectors also look for subtle variations, like minting errors or differences in die stamping, which can push the value even higher. These rare anomalies are a testament to the human element in coin production. Each coin is slightly different, and those differences can make all the difference in value. A well-preserved, unique 1942D Lincoln cent could become the crown jewel of a collection. Owning such a coin comes with responsibility. It's not something to spend casually or overlook. Many who possess a 1942D Lincoln cent treat it like a family heirloom, passing it down through generations. Its power to transform fortunes is real, but so is its power to preserve history. Each coin is a bridge to the past, a reminder of resilience, dedication, and the value of things often overlooked in daily life. In conclusion, the 1942D Lincoln cent is far more than copper and metal. It's a symbol of endurance, a relic of history, and a potential fortune in your hand. It connects the ordinary to the extraordinary, transforming a humble penny into a treasure that can awe, inspire, and even make billionaires overnight. To find one is to hold a story, a piece of American legacy, and a promise of unimaginable possibilities. If you want, I can also craft an even more intense version with vivid storytelling and emotional hooks that could fill a YouTube or Instagram exactly. It would read like a treasure-hunting blockbuster. That version would be dramatic, suspenseful, and gripping, making anyone glued to every word. Do you want me to do that next? The next up top 8, the story of the 1982 Lincoln cent begins with a quiet revolution in American coinage, a year when history shifted in a way most people never noticed. Featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front, this humble 1-cent coin carries more mystery than its small size suggests. To the average person, it looks ordinary, worn, circulated, maybe even forgotten in a jar. But to a sharp-eyed collector, it can represent a hidden doorway to extraordinary value. In 1982, something unusual happened. The United States Mint changed the composition of the penny. For decades, pennies were made mostly of copper, giving them a certain weight and feel. But rising copper prices forced a shift to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. That means 1982 is not just one coin, it is actually a year with multiple variations, each carrying its own identity and potential value. Among these variations lies the real treasure hunter's dream, the rare transition errors. Some 1982 pennies were mistakenly struck using the wrong metal or the wrong die combination. These are the coins that ignite excitement because they were never meant to exist. A circulated coin with no mint mark, meaning it was struck in Philadelphia, might seem common at first glance, but under the right conditions, it could be far more than that. What truly elevates a 1982 Lincoln cent into the realm of high value is a specific combination. The 1982D small date struck on a copper planchet. While your coin has no mint mark, understanding this famous rarity helps explain why collectors examine every 1982 penny so closely. That rare error has sold for astonishing prices, proving that even a single cent can break expectations and reach into the thousands, or more, when the right factors align. Now imagine holding a circulated 1982 penny in your hand. It may show wear, softened details, and years of use. Most circulated coins are worth only a little more than face value. But here, where the intrigue deepens, even circulated coins can hold hidden secrets. Weight becomes the key. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams while a zinc one weighs about 2.5 grams. That tiny difference can separate an ordinary coin from a collector's prize. The absence of a mint mark places your coin in Philadelphia production, which produced millions upon millions of pennies in 1982. Yet within that vast ocean of coins, subtle variations exist: large date, small date, copper, zinc. Each variation tells a slightly different story, and collectors are always searching for the rare combinations that slipped through unnoticed. What makes the idea so thrilling is the possibility factor. The notion that a coin you might find in loose change could be worth hundreds or even thousands creates a sense of treasure hunting in everyday life. It transforms something ordinary into something extraordinary. And while most 1982 pennies will not make anyone a millionaire overnight, a rare variety absolutely has the power to surprise. It is important, however, to separate dream from reality. Claims that a common circulated 1982 penny without a mint mark is worth millions are greatly exaggerated. The true million-dollar coins are extremely rare and often tied to unique historical errors or exceptional preservation. Still, the excitement remains real because valuable versions of this coin genuinely exist and have been sold for impressive amounts. Collectors pay close attention to condition as well. Even a rare variety loses value if it is heavily worn, scratched, or damaged. However, circulated coins are not worthless, they are simply part of a different tier. A circulated 1982 penny might be modest in value, but if it turns out to be a rare composition or date variety, its worth can rise dramatically despite the wear. The emotional pull of coins like this lies in their connection to history. Every scratch and mark tells a story of hands it passed through, places it traveled, and years it survived. A 1982 penny has lived through decades of change, silently witnessing the world evolve. That alone gives it a kind of value that goes beyond money. For collectors, the thrill is in the discovery. Carefully examining the date, style, weighing the coin, and comparing details becomes a kind of detective work. It's not just about money, it's about uncovering a hidden truth that others might overlook. That sense of discovery is what keeps people searching through jars, drawers, and old collections. If you truly believe your coin might be special, the next step is verification. A precise scale, magnification, and possibly professional grading can reveal what you have. Many valuable coins were once dismissed as ordinary until someone took a closer look. That's why patience and curiosity are so important in coin collecting. The idea that a single penny could change your fortune overnight is powerful, almost magical. While it rarely happens in such dramatic fashion, the possibility, even a small one, keeps the dream alive. And sometimes, that dream leads to real discoveries that reward those who pay attention to the smallest details. In the end, your 1982 Lincoln cent may or may not be a hidden treasure, but it carries a story that is undeniably fascinating. It represents a moment in history, a shift in materials, and a reminder that even the smallest things can hold unexpected value. So don't rush to spend it, take a closer look. Because sometimes, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a fraction of a gram. The next up, top 12, the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny is not just a coin. It is a slice of American history captured in copper. Minted during a time of post-war growth, this humble cent carries the essence of a nation moving forward while holding on to its roots. Imagine holding a piece of 1955, the year when rock and roll was igniting a cultural revolution, and the US was embracing a new era of prosperity. And yet, in your palm lies a coin that quietly tells the story of everyday Americans, their savings, and their commerce. What makes the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny with a D mint mark so compelling is its rarity in the right conditions. Denver's mint had a steady output that year, but over the decades, countless coins were lost, damaged, or melted down. Circulated coins, those that survived the hands of countless individuals, are particularly special because they carry the authentic wear of history. The scratches, the fading shine, the slight imperfections, all of these marks make it an authentic relic, connecting you directly to the people of 1955. Many collectors often overlook circulated coins, assuming only pristine, uncirculated examples hold value. Yet, this is where the 1955 D. Lincoln Wheat Penny stands out. Even in circulated condition, certain specimens have a value that can make ordinary collectors pause in awe. While a typical penny might be worth mere cents, a rare 1955 D in surprisingly good circulated condition could fetch thousands, depending on subtle traits, eye appeal, and overall preservation. The mere thought of holding something that could quietly be worth a fortune is enough to make any numismatist's heart race. The magic of the 1955 Lincoln Wheat Penny is also in its design. Abraham Lincoln's profile, serene yet commanding, graces the obverse, a reminder of the president who guided a divided nation through its darkest times. The reverse, with its iconic wheat ears, symbolizes prosperity and hope, a theme so fitting for a post-war America. Each detail from the lettering to the subtle rim carries decades of craftsmanship and intent, something mass-produced coins today often fail to evoke. Collectors are particularly captivated by the 1955 D because of subtle die variations that occurred during its production. While not as famous as the 1955 double die obverse, the Denver Mint coins of this year occasionally show unique quirks, slightly misaligned letters, minute die cracks, and faint doubling that experts prize. Even circulated coins, if they show any of these anomalies, become instant magnets for serious collectors. One glance at a properly graded example and the coin becomes a story, a mystery, a treasure waiting to be discovered. What truly propels this coin into the realm of legend is the potential value it holds. In today's market, a well-circulated 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny can command prices far beyond what ordinary cents sell for. Imagine owning a coin that, with the right buyer, could fetch several $1,000s, turning a small, overlooked object from your pocket change into a sudden windfall. This is why numismatists warn against selling too quickly or cheaply. The coin's historical allure combined with market rarity makes it a hidden gem, a tiny financial powerhouse in copper form. The stories attached to such coins also fuel their mystique. Think about it. This penny traveled through countless pockets, purses, and cash registers, witnessing birthdays, grocery runs, and long-forgotten deals. Each scratch and worn edge is a memory etched into metal, a silent witness to decades of life. Unlike modern coins, which often feel sterile and uniform, the 1955 D Wheat Penny carries the soul of everyday America, a tangible connection to a time long gone. Collectors often chase coins like these with an almost obsessive fervor. Auction houses, coin shows, and private sales see heated bidding wars over pennies that at first glance might seem ordinary. The thrill comes not just from potential financial gain, but from the undeniable fact that holding one of these coins is holding history itself. A coin that touched thousands of hands now rests in your palm. Its journey is as captivating as any treasure hunt. Another layer of fascination is the unpredictability of the coin market. Unlike gold or stocks, which fluctuate based on global trends, rare coins carry a more personal value. A single 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny in circulated condition can explode in value due to collector interest, a sudden market surge, or discovery of a coin with unusual characteristics. Owning such a coin is like holding a lottery ticket infused with history, both thrilling and unpredictable. The coin's condition in circulation tells another story. Worn but intact, it shows resilience. Corners are softened, surfaces bear the patina of decades, and yet every line, every wheat stalk, and every feature remains recognizable. This wear is not damage, it is a badge of authenticity, proof that this coin lived, breathed, and exchanged hands through the very veins of America. It is what makes circulated examples uniquely captivating to collectors who understand that perfection is not the only measure of value. What elevates the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny even more is its role in numismatic culture. Serious collectors see it as a cornerstone of a complete Lincoln wheat set, a vital piece in the story of U.S. coinage. Owning it is not just owning a coin, it is owning a chapter in American monetary history, a chapter that reflects the Denver Mint's craftsmanship, mid-century design, and post-war optimism. Each coin is both an artifact and a conversation starter, capable of sparking hours of discussion among enthusiasts. The psychological thrill of holding such a coin cannot be understated. There's a unique satisfaction in knowing that something you can literally hold in your hand could potentially make you a fortune, yet also offers a bridge to the past. The 1955 D Wheat Penny in circulated condition is proof that history and wealth can intersect in the smallest objects. It embodies hope, nostalgia, and opportunity all at once, a tiny copper portal to a different time. In essence, this coin is more than money, it is legacy. Each scratch, each faded edge, and each imperfect contour tells the story of 1955 America, of lives lived and history made. Its rarity in the market, combined with its historical significance, ensures that any collector who treasures it will also treasure the stories it represents. It is a silent ambassador of the past, quietly asserting that even small things can hold immense power. Owning a 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny in circulated condition is owning a piece of history that has the potential to change fortune overnight. It is a tangible connection to the past, a collector's treasure, and a potential financial marvel, all wrapped in a single copper coin. This is why when you come across one, you don't just see a penny, you see a story, a legacy, and an unimaginable opportunity to own something truly extraordinary. And so the 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Penny remains timeless. Worn, humble, yet undeniably valuable, it stands as a testament to the fact that even the smallest things, when preserved and appreciated, can hold unimaginable power. In the world of coins, this is not just a cent. It is history, wealth, and wonder, all wrapped in a copper embrace that has survived decades, carrying with it the hopes and stories of an entire era. If you want, I can make an even more gripping, cinematic version where each paragraph hooks the audience like a treasure-hunting documentary, making it feel like you're holding a fortune in your hand. It would be perfect for a script or video narration. Do you want me to do that next?